சர்தார் வல்லபாய் பட்டேல் பிறந்த நாளை முன்னிட்டு மத்திய அரசின் சார்பில் இந்தியாவின் மொழி, வர்த்தகம், கலாச்சாரம், பயணம், சுற்றுலா மற்றும் வரலாற்றை விளக்கும் ஒரே பாரதம் உன்னத பாரதம். இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியின் 2 நாள் கருத்தரங்கு சென்னை கிண்டியில் உள்ள ஆளுநர் மாளிகையில் அக்டோபர் 10ஆம் தேதி அன்று துவங்கியது. இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியை மாண்புமிகு தமிழக ஆளுநர் அவர்கள் துவக்கி வைத்து சிறப்புரை ஆற்றினார். பாரத் கியான் நிறுவனத்தை சேர்ந்த டாக்டர் டி.கே. ஹரி மற்றும் டாக்டர் ஹேமா ஹரி, டாக்டர் எம்ஜிஆர் மருத்துவ பல்கலைக்கழக துணைவேந்தர் திருமதி சுதா சேஷையன், ஆளுநரின் முதன்மை செயலாளர் திரு அனந்தராவ் வி. பாட்டீல் உள்ளிட்ட பலர் கலந்து கொண்டனர்.
Institutions from Tamilnadu. Like that, many initiatives to improve the higher education in Tamil Nadu. That is the Hon'ble Governor's initiative. As you are also aware that Hon'ble Governor, whenever he is visiting any university or educational institutions, he interacts with the students. University convocations sir come for 2 days. So India is the land of unity in diversity. I quote here Surendra Banerjee, then one of the legendary, and he said that there may be religious differences between us, there may be social differences between us, but there is a common platform where we all meet. The platform of our country's welfare. And when the name India comes, all the states, all the people, they may be speaking so many languages, they come together and work for India. And this is, I think, great opportunity has come for all of us to rise in the world order.
To do it here and in many places, as he said, in different parts of Tamil Nadu. So we reach the knowledge to the people, the students, the bright young students of Bharata Desam. That is our whole idea. So that this knowledge belongs to you. This connect belongs to you. You should take it forward. This our earth, the blue dot, Neela Pulli, blue dot, is only a speck. This is what one of the people there told me after the show. Our earth is only a speck. In the solar system itself is only a speck. Then the solar system is a speck in the galaxy. The galaxy is a speck in the universe. So we are just speck. Adukku Tamil or alana vaatrai avanga I learned this many years back, probably few decades ago. Idu vandu நம்ம earth vandu thuli illa, thumi. She would explain the difference between thuli and thumi. Thumi is smaller than a thuli is small. It's a bit, a particle. It's a sub-particle, our earth. That is the beauty that we are. And this is what we are fortunate to be in this thumi, this speck, and have life in it. Be born and to relish this knowledge of Bharatam.
இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியை மாண்புமிகு தமிழக ஆளுநர் அவர்கள் சிறப்புரை ஆற்றினார்.
We have been taught, and as a result we have developed a constitutional perspective of India as a political state. Federal in a structure, you have a center, you have states, there are different states, division of power. Even the Constitution of India talks about, okay, you have fundamental right of citizens, you have union, you have states, you have 3 pillars of the state: legislature, executive, judiciary, distribution of power, collection of revenues, distribution of revenues. This is all it talks about. This is what is called the constitutional perspective of India. What has happened since the time of the British, that the concept of a state, the concept of a state under one sovereign ruler, that has gained so much of acceptance and has gone so deep down in our consciousness, that for a state there has to be a sovereign ruler and a territory. This is a Western concept, European concept. European concept was that You know, they have been fighting among themselves for only a few hundred years, 300 years ago they stabilized. Still they are fighting, of course, but then they have been basically grabbing. One ruler, one powerful, grabs the area, makes it a territory, makes it a country. Now the country and that is how over the period of time the concept of sovereignty came. The sovereignty with the ruler. This notion came that yes, there is a sovereign ruler and there is a territory, and sovereign has all rights whatever can do. Now this notion of India has made many of our people believe that was India before British ever a one country? Many people believe that it is the British who actually united. Otherwise it was all so many rulers, so many kings, so many kingdoms were there in this country. It is British who united. This is essentially the European concept of a one sovereign having all the power, governing a territory, ruling over a territory. India has not been like that. India is unique. Think of it. Just for a moment think of it. Even during British rule. When the British partitioned Bengal in 1905 and they created East Bengal on communal basis. East Bengal, Muslim dominated. West Bengal, Hindu majority. So when they divided as a divide and rule policy. People here in this land, they revolted. V.O. Chidambaram Pillai came on the street. He gave his entire life fighting this. Not only Subramaniam Bharati came out. Now why what happened in Bengal? Why the people of Tamilnadu were so agitated that they came on a street against the British? Doing things there? When Jallianwala Bagh happened, a young Kamraj with a promising career left his career and came into politics to protest, joined the National Freedom Movement. Well, Jallianwala Bagh happened in Punjab. He could have said, it is not my concern, why should it? Now, where is that connect? And even when the National Freedom Movement began, how come the whole country came together? Whole country came together, irrespective of who were the rulers, kingdom here and there. They all waged the campaign against the British under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi. What was that united this country? So, defining the European concept of a state being ruled by a sovereign, a territory and people ruled by a sovereign has never been the case with this country. And that is why this country cannot be fully understood by understanding of India. Because India was not the name of this country. India was a name given by somebody else, by outsider. Indians, before the British came, and even during the British time, for a long time, people of this country did not call it India. When Mahakavi Bharatiya composed his poem, Parakule Nandanad, Bharatanad, he talked about Bharat. When Bankim Chandra Chatterjee in Bengal, he gave Bande Mataram, he talks about Bharat Mata. People in different parts of the country, poets, fighters, freedom fighters, revolutionaries, philosophers, they have all talked of Bharat. So to understand this country, we have to go back to Bharat. what is Bharat? And unfortunately, the Bharat has not been taught. Bharat has not been introduced to us. During the British time, it was by design. By post-British time, after the British left, by default. So, we have a very little understanding of who we are, our own identity. Because if we do not understand the country as such, you as a citizen of this country, is a question of our identity. If we are an Indian, what does it mean? You know, this country, Bharat, is a civilizational evolution. It is a socio-cultural evolution. And it has happened over several thousands of years. It hasn't happened over a period of time, just a short period of time, that one ruler has come and captured. Many people here will argue, yes, tell me who was the ruler who ruled the whole country. Even the British did not. When the British, when they left, there were nearly 560 independent countries within India. So you want to say that British united, that's not the case. So, what is this country, this Bharat, is a socio-cultural civilizational evolution that has happened over a long period of time, several thousand years. To introduce this to you, we have very competent people, those who have dedicated their entire life. Dr. D.K. Hari and Hema Hari, they have dedicated their whole life, traveled far and wide, not only within the country but even outside the country, understanding Bharat, its reach overseas, its connect, civilizational connect, trade connect in various forms. And they have, through their extensive and intensive researches, they have accumulated a wealth of literature, wealth of knowledge. You know, this country, when it talks about a sovereignty, a sovereign ruler, as European concept is, this country has never accepted even kings as sovereign. In our country, in Bharat, sovereignty lies with dharma. And that is why even the kings are bound by the dharma. If a king goes against the dharma, it is a legitimate for the people to throw him out. So the sovereignty as lying in the ruler and the king is an European concept, it is not Bharatiya concept. So when sovereignty lies in the dharma, not in the rulers, people who are pursuing that dharma, that cultural spirituality, between them, among them, there was no barrier, there was no boundary of a state or a boundary of a kingdom. Since time immemorial, people have been traveling from one part of Bharat to another part of it, unmindful of, throughout the journey, which king or which kingdom they have crossed. To illustrate a few cases, in the 4th century before Christian era, common era, 4th century, a great Mauryan Empire ruler, Chandragupta Maurya, Patliputra was the capital, today's Patna, 4th century BC, that is about 2400 years ago. His Rajguru, his Acharya, Bhadrabahu, at one point, he left Patliputra and along with it 12,000 Shramanas, his disciples came over, traveled all the way, and settled a place near Mysore, Sravanbelgola. about 400 years before the Common Era. Coming with the 12,000 people. So many kings were there, so many kingdoms were there. It was not a matter of concern. And en route they were all hosted by the villages, larger villages, with the community support, which those institutions were there. Not only that, from our own land, in the early centuries of our first millennia, as 5th century, a Pallava prince leaves Kanchipuram, travels with an entourage, goes to Nalanda. He studies there. He becomes an acharya. Nalanda used to be the largest university in the world. The students from foreign countries also used to come and study. So he went, studied, became acharya. His name, he was rechristened. His name became Bodhidharma. Bodhidharma taught at Nalanda. He came back and through sea route he went to China, introduced Buddhism to China. And the emperor, Chinese emperor, was so impressed. He gave him land, he gave him place. And Bodhidharma built the Shaolin monastery. Many of you might have seen in the film, Shaolin monastery, all this martial art. Martial art, he took it from here. It's our variation of that. This was taken through the entourage of Bodhidharma. So you see, Bhadrabahu coming from Patliputra, Bodhidharma going from here to Nalanda. These are just few illustrations. It continued, the tradition continued. When Bhakti movement started here, Alwars and Nayanmars, it movement went up to the north and it embraced the whole country. And it was subsequently, there were saints and seers from north who came in the 15th century. Sankardev from Assam, Kamrup, he came, he travelled all the way to Rameswaram for his studies, Rameswaram, Kanchipuram. He stayed here, he studied. Went back to Kashi, went back to Kamarupa. And then he composed, one of the first compositions, the poem that he wrote was Dhanya Dhanya Bharat Bhumi, in praise of Bharat Bhumi. When Guru Nanak Dev Ji, about more than 550 years ago, when he was born, and then about more than 500 years ago when he travelled, he came to Rameswaram. You know, they were all people who were influenced by the Bhakti movement that originated here. So this land, from Himalayas to the ocean, this land evolved into a civilization, and this civilization was Bharat. That is why in our ancient text, Vishnu Puran, it says, it tells about what is Bharat. Uttaram yat samudrasya himadrishya dakshinam varsham tad bharatam nama santati yat bharati. North of ocean, south of Himalaya is the land called Bharat, and its children are Bharati. So to understand this country, you have to understand Bharat. What is Bharat? And when you see that this is a great country, we are citizens of this great country with several thousand years of civilization, it gives you a sense of pride. Unfortunately, what happened? During the British, it was by design of the British, and subsequently, we started getting fragmented on political lines. And politics, which is predominantly about power, whichever party it is essentially about power. This kept dividing our people. Now think of it. Till 1956, there was one Madras state. There was no, forget about the rest of the, even Madras state. And when suddenly, on the linguistic basis, the states were created, Kerala, Karnataka, Andhra, now subsequently Telangana. Now I find people from those states staying here for several hundred years. They tell me they are migrants from Karnataka, they are migrants from Andhra or Telangana. What is this? Us and they. This politics has divided. Even when in national anthem, when we say Dravid, we say all this is a regional concept. It covers all the 4-5 states. But today Dravid has become a Tamil identity. It's more and more division and subdivision. This politics has crowded our thinking. It has colored our thinking. It has created a distance between you and me, us and they. That is what it has done. Well, that can be a necessary evil. Political framework is there, it is there. Political parties will continue playing politics for the power, we cannot deny that. They will continue doing the mobilization, whichever they will see that they will get the mobilization. Whether it is a regional line, whether it is a linguistic line, whether it is a caste line, whether it is a communal line, caste mein subcaste, a subcaste, all these, they will keep dividing. That will happen. But our core strength is our cultural continuum, the unity. When Tamilnadu and Karnataka, they clash, we have to, you as a young people, and this awareness comes all over, then this clash will disappear. Then we become part of a family, we become part of a kutumbam. No, it's us and they, us and they, us and they. And that this is the notion of India that has been taught to our children, to all of you, to us, even to me. When I was a school student, I was also taught about the same thing. India is a geography. India means that there is geography. Geography means there is a boundary. That's all. It is not. Our core strength, what defines this country, the soul of this country, is its cultural spirituality, whether it is a Kanyakumari or Kashmir, whether it is a Kutch or Kohima. People, they share the same cultural spirituality. And that is what unites us. That is what makes us a member of a family. In the next 2 days, the two great people, they will enlighten you, they will share with you. Make best use of it. And I would suggest, as he said, as Dr. Hari said, it's the tip of the iceberg. It needs more. So I would suggest some of you, as many of you as possible, remain connected with him. And I am sure Dr. Hari and Hema will be very interested in continuing the dialogue with you, even at individual level. Know more about ourselves. Rise above us, because this country has a big responsibility. Unless we know about who we are a family. And how glorious this family was, you will get to know. That sense of pride. With that we move forward, and we have a destination to reach. There is a destiny awaiting us, the country. We have to reach that. My friends, thank you very much.
Ray Bharatam, the Unnata Bharatam, what is that uniqueness? Irrigation.
Where is this earth? Where is this earth? It is part of that sky. ஏதோ நம்ம வந்து நேற்று நீ நான் பேசியிருந்தோம், இந்த பூமியே is in that sky. We are part of that. So look at this. So what is the clock we had? We had the sky as the clock. And what is the see, like how we have a clock dial, the nakshatra were 27 and the hands were this. Okay?
When you start adding pointers like the planets further, you don't need planets to know the time of the day or the year. So, but if you add planets in addition to this information, then you are creating a marking and pegging, as we say, a unique moment in history.
And in similarly, Ramayana, you also at least 7 relate directly to. See, we'll just take one for Krishna, one for Rama because of paucity of time. Others all are in the film for you to watch fully. We'll just take Krishna's birth and then go to similar Rama's birth. But they fought in the Mahabharata war. You have been having the dynasties for 5,000 years. You are pushing back our history by another 2,500 years now. Well, otherwise they could not have fought the Mahabharata war. You know, archaeology is limiting us now. The archaeology has to catch up with modern science. Every
Madamo, they would celebrate the Shankaranti. So we had Makara Shankaranti, Mesha Shankaranti, Meena Shankaranti, everything we celebrated. Since we have stopped celebrating all of that, we celebrate only one Shankaranti, which is around the time of Pongal. So we just call it Shankaranti. It is actually Makara Shankaranti. Many people still call it Makara Sankranti. So, on the festival, Pongal, they all coincide. And at one point in time, this was also the time for Uttarayanam. See, we just saw the sun going up and down, right? So, this sun, when it touches the Tropic of Capricorn and then starts coming back northward, Uttaram apdina, northward, upward, Utsav, So, Uttarayanam, male Noki, it's coming up.
Same time, 2 Mahendravarmans across the Bay of Bengal.
And before the 1000 CE Chola expedition.
This is before that, even before. Do you know what the Cholas called the Bay of Bengal? Kadaram Kondan. Where is Kadaram? It is in Malaysia, the northern district of Malaysia. Today it's called Kedah. Kedah, Kedah, Kedah today is the district. Earlier it was called Kadaram. There are excavations there in Kedah, Malaysia, Bujang Valley, where these are the old things. So look at that.
It's called Bujang Valley today.
It's a valley in which the river is there. Almost same latitude you have there across the Bay of Bengal. Look at their confidence, even bordering on arrogance, to call the Bay of Bengal a big lake. That means how many times have I gone up and down, up to and fro to call it a lake?